been too long, but dev stream time. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Scroll all the way up to the last time I had a dev stream. I was busy, I was sick, I was all over the place. All my attempts to be a little bit more consistent about dev streams simply not happening. Wait, wrong virtual desktop. There you go. So, in spite of the fact that I was sick and busy and unavailable, I did do a lot. So, the change I was making to move waveforms into a worker, I have finished. I haven't actually, it's not live on Ennuicastr.com yet, but it's just because I need to do some testing, but it's done. But I have other stuff I wish to do, and basically, I realized that all I really wanted was RPC. All I wanted was RPC. So I made an RPC library, and I'm moving things over to use the RPC library. That's the goal. So all of these things that are currently in Ennuicastr Worker, I want to be in the RPC library. Another thing I noticed is that so my output handler, I was so careful to make sure that I could do output as shared array buffers. And then I think I just didn't implement that at all in my actual code. The string buffers, which is how I indicate that it's shared array buffers, doesn't appear. So all of my worry about making sure that I'm making good use of memory is just threw it away. Don't need that. Anyway, so I think I can basically approach this as like take one piece at a time out of Ennuicastr Worker and stick it into a fresh new worker in source workers. And so I have just started, and I don't think I really did anything with this yet, to make the encoder worker. One thing I don't know is if I use so I'm loaded from a data URL, can I load other libraries from a data URL? Or will I need to find some other way to load the worker in order to have the worker then load other libraries? Can I check that in a fairly quick way? The answer is kinda. Oh, let me put this in a subdirectory so that I'm actually testing something. Y'all very unhappy. Is my VTuber's emotion is not an accurate reflection of my own. Meta car set equals UTF-8. Title test. And we'll go ahead and stick a script in here. God, how does this actually work? Waveform worker, data application, JavaScript, plus code URI component. That should, I guess, be all I need, really. In fact, that should be all I need in this particular test. That's surprisingly simple, but I think it's right. As long as I have test.js have like a console log in it. I can also check whether it's secretly garbage collecting work. Well, no, this won't check that because I didn't even make it check for messages or anything. Tell you what, let's make a global variable double w store the worker, and then I will have on message equals console.log. That's fine. So that it's at least checking for messages. There we go. So test.js. And here I really just want this to do some kind of console.log. Okay, theory now testable. Definite open both browsers situation. Hello, swap file. Oh, I was like, why didn't the inspect window open? Answer, because it was busy popping up other stuff. Just dock that to the right. Failed? Yeah. Wait, failed to load. Okay, that's a weird way for it to phrase it, but yeah. And would it work if I gave the entire URL? Yes. So it looks like I might just need a complete URL to make it work. That is unfortunate. Okay, well, whatever. At least I checked. Would have been a bit of a mess to do all of that and then go, oh, wait, it doesn't work. Shit. Okay. Now, the wait worker, that's used in the input handler, but I feel like the input handler, like similarly, this side of the input handler isn't going to be used. No, that's not true, because this is coming from... Oh, is that the thing? Because it's not on Ennuicastr that's handling this output in that way. It's WeSound. Okay, that makes sense. So I think what I'm going to want to do is copy those handlers that do the input and output with buffers into just copy them into a separate sort of library. I'll just call it in-out handler, I suppose. So no longer care about any of this. I think can shared is, yeah, necessary for that. In fact, probably only belongs to that, and so does buff size, so does wait worker. Okay, so input handler. None of this should compete with with RPC, so I can do this and RPC and just mix them together, no problem. Output handler. Well, this has a global out handlers, but I think I should probably consider that to be a local concern, which means, yes, the rest of this can go away. And now I just need to make sure I export things, since this was never exported before. My connection to this test bed server feels a bit slow right now, but oh well. That does not need to be public. I don't think this needs to be public. And part of my design intent of moving things and moving the build around like this is that I can now actually import things, which is nice. As inout from inout handler. So this I care about. This I don't care about. And right now, I of course have this designed as just this sort of weird message handler nonsense, and so I need to make this a class. Oh wait, I need to make this a class that is defined by an interface. So like here's how these interfaces work. It's just that this is what you're going to call. That's it. I guess I can just call it encoder. Let's see why not. So all of the things that used to be in a sort of quirky message can now be in a... Oh, it has a port. Oh, input, I see. Oh, input is on a port. Of course it is, of course it is, of course it is. That's good. That's a good thing. So, gonna have an init. And by doing it this way, I'm going to make sure that things just make sure that things are. That's the sentence I was trying to say. I make sure that there's some actual type checking between what's happening over here and what's happening on both sides of the worker, which I did not have before. I guess what I'll do is have this be a separate interface. Okay. Now I have that defaulting to 48K, but I'm going to check whether, like, I'm going to set this as a non-optional and make sure that I fix it later. This seems weird. The in-sample rate and out-sample rate, like the default out-sample rate should be the in-sample rate, but I suppose it doesn't matter since it's always set. Generally, of course, you want those sample rates to be the same, but sometimes that is unavoidable. Only Opus and Flax supported for now. Message.channel. Okay, so this is going to be the input channel. how do I handle that? I just extract the one channel. Fine. Da 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 da. Okay. So far, everything has felt mandatory except for channel. So I might... Oops, it's not channels, it's channel. I might go ahead and mark that as optional. Moho. Just having this documented is actually massive. Okay, any other message dots? Right. God, that's right. I've got an entire encoder for track thing. Back channels is the port, and track no is the number. Fine. I'm going to do it in a different way because just having it erase was a bit pointless. What I can do instead is have it be optional, of course, a record from number to message port. That should be all of the message dots. Yes, that's good. So you initialize with encoder options, encoder opts. Now, here's the important part of all of this. Now, if I want to make an encoder class, I need one other thing. Which is the RPC library. This is an RPC receiver. In a worker. And we say that class encoder implements RPC receiver dot RPC receiver of IF encoder dot encoder, not encoder opt obviously, and watch the magic that is about to happen. Boink. The one sort of complicated thing is you are allowed to send back transfer, and so the return type is a little bit quirky, so you have to go back and fix it. that's what RPC receiver is giving me. On the other end, it asyncifies everything, making that even fancier. So all of that used to be in opts, um, belongs. You know what? I might just. Do this. Like, that'll do. Now, I need for each track's encoder, basically I need this entire function probably, though it's going to behave a bit differently, of course. Oh, this is grotesque. For each track, I'm loading libav. I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but it's certainly not good. I really just don't need this declare let window madness. This is all garbage. That does not belong there. Baby wrapper, that's what that is. I'm going to declare let file name, which is just a bit of the loading oddness for loading mscriptin in workers. Okay, so init is the time to initialize this. That makes sense. If type of libav equals undefined, then first we're going to load that. I'm avoiding doing this with global dot because that was all rather silly. I genuinely don't know why I did it that way. So long as I don't actually declare them, it should be the same. No libav worker. Oh yes, I did that whole thing about needing a base URL. I don't feel like in modern versions of libav any of this is actually necessary anymore. That's all kind of ancient history. Like whatever this no libav worker was, I doubt that's even, yeah, that's not even here. Yeah, base is no longer a documented thing because it's simply not necessary. Yeah, I think it might actually be sufficient to do just this. I could technically do that a different way, but... Okay. Now, they're each going to make their own libav instance, right? Yes. So essentially, yeah, I did an encoder track for the input port, and then an encoder track for each back channel. So encoder port, probably quite changed, is going to be, well, actually, probably not very changed, because it turns out everything is on this message port. But encoder port, or encoder track. What does it mean to refactor something, asks 480i in chat. It is... I'm trying to find any, like, etymological reason why it's called refactoring, and honestly, I don't quite know, but reorganizing code to try to make it either easier to read or sometimes to shake out bugs, like often if you reorganize the code a bit, then you'll go, oh, well, that should have never been like that. That was madness. Or sometimes it's just to make things more sort of nicely separated from each other, so you don't have a bunch of unrelated crap all mixed together. Basically, code reorganization for whichever reason one personally might have to reorganize one's code. Okay, so encoder track on the port 0, and then for... They just call it... They should probably... So, it's... You would call it cleanup, even if you're not really reorganizing your code, you're just going through and, like, removing cruft or whatever. Refactoring is specifically an organizational change. So, like, right now, I am separating this component, the Ennuicastr worker, which was one giant worker that does like 4 different unrelated tasks, into separate workers that handle each of the individual tasks. And so because I'm taking this like giant blob and organizing it into many smaller, more nimble components, there's more. It is cleanup, but it is a organizational cleanup rather than just a sort of local cleanup. Const the track in ops dot back channels or none. This dot encoder track dot back channels track no track no. Okay, don't need to load libav here anymore. I already did that. Oh dear, I'm going to need a lot of this dot opt dot. I might actually just carry some of the stuff out of options. You know what? The way to do that is... Nope. I mean, this is a descendant of Craig, but I have no intention of I don't like that. There's not been such hideous outcry that I have any reason to think that the new maintainers are doing a bad job, and I have no interest in continuing to maintain it myself, so. Output channel layout. Wait, output channel layout? Oops. I see. Output channel layout. Why have you forgotten how to complete? What's happening? Just output. There we go. So, let's see. If dot ops dot channel is set, then for, oh god, wait, this is so complicated. If this dot ops dot, yeah, if you set the out channel layout, then believe it. Else, if the number of channels is set, or if the channel is set, so the number of channels is 1, then the channel layout is mono. Otherwise, it's the input channel layout. That's not a complicated expression at all. Okay, float. Okay, we need format. I guess actually the faster way to figure out what I need would be to just get this compiling and start chasing the actual error messages. No, though my streaming has been so irregular recently that I don't think there's anybody who's especially regular. I guess Speclad probably shows up slightly more often than you. Yeah, it's really hard to judge because I've been just like hammered and busy, and it's like my streaming schedule is utter madness. My game streaming channel is completely consistent. It has been consistent for years, but my yeah, this streaming, this is just a little bit erratic. I'm just gonna search. There we go. Okay, so I think all I want to do is add to this. Maybe I'll even put it in alphabetical order. Encoder worker.js. And then add to this. Yeah, this is gross. I'm gonna make this more automated. Name. Period. That's it. Fast connection. I have this testbed server on such a cheap system. I think I'm paying $5 a month for this server. Maybe not ideal. Probably fine. Yes, I need the name here to... wonder why I did it that way, given that TypeScript is obviously always going to be loaded in the same way. So let's just put this where it belongs. Okay, so now I can just write worker encoder, worker waveform. I expected plenty of errors there, obviously. I probably should have made it so I could actually capture those errors. That's not how you specify no colors. That's not how you capture errors. Everything I'm doing is wrong. Is it no color? In sample rate. I'll write this down somewhere. Okay, good typing. In sample rate, channel layout, of course, in handler, and presumably out handler. Right, okay, channel. Channel count. I just put this all into an object, and then I'm just going to extract them all right back out of the object. Feels kind of stupid. Okay, it's actually not that many things. Okay. I'm not running it anymore? I guess I'm not, okay. Encoder worker. Did I leave? Ah, there's the issue. I was like, did I leave some crap here? Yeah, there we go. How many people are using Ennuicastr, and how do they find out about you? It's in the dozens, not the hundreds. I don't really keep particularly careful tabs, but it's you know, there's less than 100 users, but it's in the tens. Probably, I don't know, some dozens. Let's go with dozens. And I have no idea on an individual basis how many of them found me. It's not like Ennuicastr advertises. So, unlike that that garbage spammer who loves advertising. Yep, what I'm looking for on my my dev stream is to get as many views as possible. Ban. Okay, I needed far fewer of these. I needed far fewer of these than I expected. In sample rate, channel count, channel layout, and I think that might have been it. I haven't handled the outputting yet, which is obviously... Oh, I guess, yeah, the way this outputs is different. This wouldn't use an out handler. The in handler comes from in out. So what does this actually do? It encodes. Oh, it just posts it directly. Yeah, okay. Gonna have to change that. That's a bit nasty. Is that the only case of post message? Yes, okay. So technically that would actually work, but it's just not. That is exactly the kind of sort of grotesque pattern that I'm refactoring for. Hey, look at that. No errors. I'm utterly shocked by that. So I think what I probably want is to have a return channel. Interface, that's what I'm looking for. And yeah, I guess init is really all you do in that direction. Otherwise, I have a reverse channel. Okay. What is being posted? Oh, of course, it's any number of packets. Minus TS. What? What is TS? Date dot now. Okay, wait. I'm so confused. On data. Okay, that's when I receive. Oh, okay. So that's when I receive data, and so. Ah, okay. So this is. Geez, this is why you actually name things rather than sending undocumented messages all over the place. This is the delay. This is the delay. What a fantastically stupid name for the delay this is. Okay. So we have the timestamp, the delay. I guess it's not so much delay as real-time offset. This is how you move from the timestamp to real-time. The sequence number. The track number. And the packets. Track number, I'm going to stick here. Try to make these be in some kind of sensible order. Okay. Not sure why this didn't autocomplete to just libapjs, but whatever. Packets are t dot packet array. Presumably, I guess I don't know that. Yes. Oh. No, the packets are just the raw data, like I say here. So All of that was nonsense. Right, and I want to, with my initialization options, get a port on which to send the reverse. Which means this is both a receiver and a target. RPC. And I will want class encoder rev extends RPC target dot RPC target implements RPC target dot async of the IF. What did I load the encoder interface as? IFInc, that's what I thought. Why don't you autocomplete? Odd. Encoder rev. And now when I do packets, blammo. Oh, I didn't fully specify the type. Void is your return type, thank you. Blammo. And it becomes promise of void. Hooray. Bit ugly all on, wow, why would it auto anything? All on one line there. There we go. But given that this is the reverse direction, I don't actually want to check for anything. Okay, so make sure I transfer everything. Actually, here's how I do this very, very cleverly. Packets, TS, real-time offset, trackno, sec, packets.map, x.buffer. That's the thing to transfer. Now I can have a reverse inside of here, which will be an RBC target dot async of if inc dot encoder reverse. This dot reverse equals new encoder rev from ops dot reverse. This dot reverse dot. Why don't you know the type? Autocomplete, you bastard. It should completely know the type. Except that this isn't this. Did it actually detect that this isn't this? No way. It did actually detect that this isn't this. I'm properly impressed by that. Timestamp, real-time offset, track no, sequence no, packets. Timestamp, real-time offset, track no, sequence no, packets. And the benefit to all that I've just done is that now the types of this are documented and will be, consistent between each component. Let's check whether I just added a bunch of errors. I'm utterly stunned every time I type make it compiles. I don't know if I should be stunned by that, but I certainly am. I suppose I could have a separate encoder worker for each track, but I don't feel like that's a good use of resources. These errors are not significant. You can ignore them. Okay, and then the next step would be to actually use that. Naturally, source audio is the only place that actually uses the encoder. So really? And once again, why aren't you auto-completing? I'm so confused. If I do this, will that then have stuff in it? What is happening? I know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Oh, I know what's happening. I need to convince it that it does actually, or oops, that this file actually does need to exist. It won't auto-build it if it doesn't even know that it's supposed to be there. There we go. So now encoder worker should be a fully codified worker implementation. I have no reason to wait for this to finish. I don't know why I am. Let's just quickly verify that. Enc worker dot, yeah, there we go. Oh, I have this under capture.createCapture. How utterly bizarre. Ugh. So when I create a capture, what the hell is going on? This is why you refactor, because I don't even understand why this code is behaving as it is. It's bizarre because this makes... Okay. Okay. I see. Yeah, this is utterly silly. Because a capture is supposed to be to capture audio like as an actual like 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 this as actual like audio data you can use, um, and to run it through a worker that's going to do filtering or whatever. Uh, but in this case, the output isn't even that. The output of the encoder is not usable audio; it's encoded audio. So I'm really kind of it's fairly nasty, frankly, of me to perform it in this way. And I guess I just did it like that because I wanted this to automatically create the capture, the underlying capture, that is. Yeah. So is there a better way for me to separate out these tasks? Because I still want it to make these pipes, and I just want it to give me the pipes rather than... Like, I want something that will create a couple of message channels for communication, and... Do I actually want any of that? Maybe all I want is the actual underlying capture, and everything else I'm just being silly. Let me look at my other uses of create capture and see whether I'm being ridiculous. There is literally only other one use of it. Oh no, there's two. I just can't read. Yeah, like this creates an actual capture. But it's so, like, quirky. I think what I want is something that creates the message channels but not the worker. Then I create the worker. Yeah, that makes sense. Unfortunately, that means I'm going to have to kind of do this all at once. I was hoping to do one of the worker functionalities at a time. But if I'm changing how I create the workers in the first place, then they all kind of have to happen at once. Okay. So that means this is gone. Outstream isn't even used? What? Good God. Yeah, this is showing a lot of cruft. This is why you refactor. Obviously this happens, but I don't... Well, I guess I need to know that to know how many message ports to make. Well, tell you what, it is the dev hour, and that was an hour, and I have so much more to do, so I'm going to say that I'll be back on Wednesday, and maybe by declaring it, I actually will, but probably not. I've been so busy recently. Okay.